Hi, welcome to One for the Road, where we navigate sobriety, recovery, and life in general. Tune in as we share our experience and opinions while answering any questions you may have. Everyone, I'm Marissa. This is my co-host, Judy.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going. It's going.
Okay, good. All right. So today we're going to talk about gratitude.
Lovely.
And yeah, I
Lovely.
don't think I'm in a very gratitude feeling mood right now. So we'll see how this comes about today. But yeah, gratitude, a key element in my recovery for sure. For sure. All a matter of perspective. I'm gonna pass it over to you.
You were just gonna be a staller.
Go.
You said
I'm
gratitude.
gonna be a staller this time.
Nice job. Well played. Yeah, you said gratitude and my stomach dropped. So terrible. Yeah, but you're right. For sure, gratitude is a huge part of being in recovery for me, right? We talked in our last episode about, the struggle, right? The struggles are real. And where I get to that place of, accepting what is, right? And just letting shit be what it's going to be and whatever, I, part of that for me is that looking at the things that are good, right? Whether, and sometimes when I can't find that goodness in the moment, I can look back, right? And I can look and see what has been good, and those are those key moments, like how it always works out, the getting sober part, right? And even all of the bullshit that led to me getting sober, all of that I can still be grateful for now today because it got me to here. So,
Absolutely.
looking at some of these struggles and then, throwing some gratitude on some stuff, it really makes a difference, right? That, energy follows thought. And so when I do that whole, I want to throw some negativity on some stuff, well, it's going to remain negative. So, trying to spin that around and the positivity and the gratitude, right? That it tends to multiply itself. I find, when I find one thing, even if it's just waking up, I woke up today, something to be grateful for, right? Because there was a time when I didn't know when that was going to happen.
Yeah. And it's a matter of perspective, right? Like what kind of perspective am I going to take on the day? And we've talked about that before too. Like I can have a negative mindset about the day, or I can wake up and I can be grateful that I woke up, right? Because that is, believe it or not, a gift, right? I can be grateful for the food on my table and I'm not talking about like Thanksgiving gratitude, right? Like I'm talking about that deep internal gratitude that makes me conduct my way or conduct my day in a completely different way. I'm a different person. I heard once that gratitude is an action.
Sure.
And I thought, how profound, right? Because I thought gratitude was just like a feeling, like, oh, I'm so grateful to have this, like whatever. And that's true too, right? It's got to start somewhere. But if I'm a grateful person, I'm not acting out of tune. A grateful person doesn't go around.
Those things are in alignment,
like
right?
shit.
Yeah.
100%, So like gratitude is an action. If I'm grateful to, live in this house that I live in, like I'm probably going to take care of it, right? If I am grateful for my relationship, I'm probably going to put in the work to make said relationship good, like and well functioning, like if I am grateful for my friendships, I will also put the work in there. I will do the things that need to be done to keep the relationship going, and the gratitude, you can find it anywhere you look if you so choose.
And that's right. Yeah. I like to see the face. That was the perfect ending to that. Because if I so choose. And and sometimes, right, like I said, being in the shit, I don't always choose that, I just say it a lot. And I think a lot of things bear repeating. I think that that's always what it is, right? Whether, you choose to, I always have a choice. I didn't feel like that before. I didn't feel like that when I was using that was my only choice, right? Bad or worse. And today, that's not really what happens. Today, I choose the gratitude. And like I said, waking up isn't a small feat for recovering addicts and alcoholics, right? I mean, It's not. People think, oh, well, it's stupid. It's just a given. I'm grateful. Listen, the universe needs to know you're thankful, right? Like
Sure.
what's the deal here? And so, and you're right, the food doesn't need to, even being thankful for food. You said Thanksgiving dinner, and I was like, well, I'm thankful for Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm also thankful for the saltine cracker, because there was a
Right.
time when I wouldn't
Right.
eat, so if
Right.
it's all about that change in perspective, right? What do I want to focus on? And again, not always easy to look for those things, or sometimes they need to smack me in my face. However, I eventually get the picture, and
Yeah.
and that's why, when I hear people say I'm grateful to be sober, and everybody's like, what, whatever, and I get that.
Yeah.
And more often than not, it's people who do not have drinking or drug problems that don't understand why you're grateful to, I'm a grateful
Yeah.
alcoholic. Well, how are you going to be a grateful alcoholic? Well, man, I'm alive, and I get to spread this gratitude around, it's kind of the energy you bring into a room, right?
Yeah,
Think about it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful today. I really am grateful. Um, and I have a lot in my life that I didn't think that I would ever have.
Mm,
I have a lot of things, a lot of material things I never thought that I would have. A lot of relationships I never thought I would have. Just there is a lot, right? Like if you want to get down to the very basic things, people are like, "Oh, I'm thankful for my car, my money, my blah 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 blah, whatever." But like, I have a lot of gratitude for the things that I don't have anymore today. I'm so grateful that I have the ability to like have a positive mindset today. I'm so grateful that I don't have the monkey on my back, right? I'm so grateful just to be alive, right? Like to wake up in the morning and my first thought not be, fuck, I woke up again.
yeah.
Fuck. Because I remember living like that too, and I'm grateful that I don't have that mindset today. I'm grateful that I look at my life more often than not every day because I'm not perfect and I can name off the top of my head 5 things that aren't material that I am truly genuinely grateful for today. When I was drinking and when before I entered any sort of recovery, like I was so angry. I was so angry and so hurt and I had all these emotions and all this stuff internal stuff that I didn't know how to handle. I don't have that stuff today. They
Right.
come, right? It comes in moments, it comes in waves, but for the most part, like I have a pretty sound and quiet mind today, which is not something I ever thought I would have.
Right. Right. That's
And
screaming.
that's been the biggest
Yeah,
gift. Yeah,
for
that's been
sure.
the biggest gift for me.
And I think that that's what it is, not knowing how to handle stuff, right? And that's one of those other things, like having all of the feelings and all of the things and not knowing what to do with that. I can get like that today, but I know what to do with it. And that's another thing that, kind of goes on my gratitude list, right? Like just knowing how and what I need to do, whether I choose to do it or not is, that is really beside the point. But being grateful that I know how to,
Right.
maneuver through life is just another bozo on a bus, right? Like I just can focus on, what's in front of me and doing that thing. And like I said, there was a thing that when I was small, this is the day the Lord has made. I will be glad, I will rejoice. My mom used to say it, whatever, walking around when I was small. And I found myself in early recovery, probably around 6 months to a year. And that was always my first thought. I don't know where it came from. I have no idea. But that was the way I started my day before my feet hit the floor. And I always used to think it was an interesting way to start
Right.
your day, right? I'm just going to be glad and I'm just going to rejoice because you're alive, man. Like that's the beauty. It always comes back down to I can remember where I came from, and it wasn't always pretty for sure. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't any of those things.
Right.
And I'm grateful I'm not there. That's always the biggest on my list. And that's why being alive, when people say, oh, that's a given, I disagree. It's not a given for some of
Yeah.
us, and I think that, it's important in recovery to be able to find those things. And I had to go looking. They didn't just come to me when I got here. I
Yeah.
had to look for those things. And through practice, right? I every day doing it, just like going to the gym, right? You built up those muscles, and it was the same thing in order to open up my eyes to be able to walk out and be like, the sky's blue, the sun is out, there's a mountain, and realize the majesty of those things, and that I'm grateful for them. Every day's a new experience, and that's what gratitude looks like for me.
Yeah, no, and the same thing, I love that, it's always really easy for me to be grateful, like when things are going really, really good in my life and things just seem to be popping off my way, and the sun's shining and all the stars are aligned, and what it's like to be God's favorite, what I imagine.
God's favorite.
But I've had to work, right? Like I've had to work. And so it's easy to do that. It's easy to be grateful when everything's going your way. And, there's plenty of money in the bank and there's this and there's that, but when times are tough, to look at it and be like, hey, even though today sucked, right? And our previous episode was like
days of sucky.
Like how to get through the right. But in those days of sucky, like when everything is like just not going my way, I still have the ability today to, like, in those days, to find something to be grateful for. There is always something to be grateful for. And that is the God's honest truth. Mm-hmm. Even in the worst moments, right? Even if all it is, man, I didn't pick up a drink today because I know my life would be 10 times worse than it is right this moment. There is always something to be grateful for. And the longer I've stayed in recovery, the more in depth the gratitude has gotten, right? I can see my own growth. I can see somebody else's growth, right? When I can look at somebody else and say, damn, what have they been doing? Because
right, I want some of that.
6 months ago, that wouldn't have been the case for them, when I can see that people change and people grow, and, even just catching my own responses to things, like that's where it's at. That's what I'm trying to get to today. That's the kind of gratitude I'm trying to have when nothing is going my way.
Right.
Can I still be grateful? That's the true test for me. It's easy to be grateful when things are good.
Sure.
But I want to be grateful when shit's hard, because you know what? If I can tap into this mindset that there's gratitude when things are hard, I'm not really having a bad day, am I? No. Not really. I'm just dealing with life.
Yeah. You're not going to find me making a gratitude list when things are going well. Right. I mean,
absolutely not. Right.
That should just not cross my mind. It's perfect. Yeah. What do I need to be grateful for? Right. But you will see me sit down in those times of trouble, and take out the pen and paper and really put those things down, because, I can think them all I want. I'm one of those people, right? Like I need to have that, hand to eye kind of thing going on. And so, I can look at that paper, and that's really the ticket for me. But you're absolutely correct. And I like that spin on it. I'm not looking at it when things are good. That's, it's only when things are hard.
I just got a lot of experience with that. So I kind of know, because I can be grateful for anything. And I remember when I first got sober, and people talked about like gratitude being the antidote for all this other shit, right? Like for all this other crap that I had going on, they told me like, we'll find something to be grateful for. Change your mind, change your world. The power of positive thinking, right? There's millions of books and sayings and shit like that going on, and I remember people being like, like, what are you truly grateful for? And I never knew the feeling. Like, I don't want to say I never knew the feeling. I never paid attention.
I like it. Yep.
Never paid attention, never lived in the moment when I was like putting on new socks. I don't know, like
listen, clean sheets and new socks. You can't beat it.
Right. So I'm embarrassed to admit that I was like 20 something years old and, like however, maybe a couple months sober. And I remember like putting on socks and being like, oh, these are so nice. Like, cause I didn't pay attention. I didn't pay attention to those things. I've had new socks, you know what I mean? Like whatever. But then becoming grateful, like, so much gratitude on putting on a new pair of socks, you know what I mean? And enjoying that feeling and being in the moment and being like, like this kind of stuff is what life is all about. Like, and that's what I'm grateful for, that I had the wherewithal to like notice the feeling on my feet. Like, I don't know if I'm going off on a tangent here, but
Well,
you know,
but
put
you
on
haven't,
clean
because
socks and change your mind, change your world.
yeah, I can't stop thinking about the clean sheets, right? Like, clean
Oh.
sheet day, it's a thing. But I will
Right.
tell you,
Fresh
it's
out
not
of the
that,
shower, clean.
right. It's
sheets.
not that I
Yes.
did not think to change my sheets when I was actively using.
Sure.
However, I was so fucked up or up for days that I never slept in my bed, right? Like, it was never a
Sure.
thing. And when I first got sober, that was one of those things that was like clean sheet day. And you get in and it was, cool sheets. It was July, right? So,
Sure.
and I was like, this is the best thing
Life's
ever.
good, man.
Life
Yeah.
is good. I got some clean sheets. You got new socks,
Yeah.
but isn't that what it's really about? That what we're saying? It doesn't have to be grateful for $1 million or grateful for, it
Sure.
can be very, very small. And that's how it started for me. It started with clean sheets, started with you
Yeah.
with socks, and I think that those are the things people don't think you can be grateful for socks. It's got to be some enormous thing, working with some other people in recovery. And they're like, I have nothing to be grateful for. And I'm like, you're on a cell phone talking to me. Like, are you grateful
Right.
for your phone?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just that, you have a phone number in your phone that you can call and somebody answered, those
Yeah.
are things to be
Someone that's
grateful
got your
for.
back.
Yeah. So
100%.
yeah, gratitude is important. I can get lost though, when
Yeah.
things are good.
Well, and this will be a topic that comes up a million times, right?
For
Because
sure.
this is a scheduled recording for your pleasure.
Right. Timeless.
But catch me when I really have that gratitude, like when I really feel and I'm like filled, because I've had moments where like it has felt like the world has stood still because I'm so grateful and I'm crying and I've got all this stuff going on because I can't believe my life today.
Right.
I cannot believe my life today. And if you would have told me 6.5 years ago that my life was going to look like it does today, I would have never believed you. I would have never believed you. And I have these overwhelming moments
Right.
of like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Like, it's the whole big thing.
And it's true though. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm like, we've got these years of recovery. We're talking into microphones and sharing this stuff with other people. I mean, that in itself is a gift, right? Like, I mean,
100%.
I never thought I had anything to offer, let alone, I mean, and I still might not. However,
I'm not sure that I do. Hopefully you do.
As soon as I said it, I'm like, you got that voice. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
the thing is that, I talk to people like you, right? And I want to talk to other people like us. And that I think is another thing just to add to that gratitude list, because my heart is bursting. I think that it's a good life, and,
Sure.
What do you want to focus on? What do you want to
Yeah.
focus on?
Yeah, I think the gratitude for me.
Yeah. Let's remember that in a couple weeks when shit comes up. Let's do that.
Give me a couple hours. I always say that right when you say it. And then like, just give me a couple hours and then the shit show will be happening again. And I'll have to be watching my own podcast, reading myself back in and saying, bitch, like, remember when you
grateful.
just had socks? Go put on your new socks.
Go put on some
how
socks.
you feel. You know
Change
what I
your
mean?
sheets.
Like, right. Exactly. So
love it.
I don't know. It comes up all the time. It'll come up some more, it really is a key element in my recovery. It's a choice too.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So
I get it. Okay. I think that's it. I think we've hit all the notes.
I never know how to end the podcast. When it's done, I never know how to end it. And I have all the awkwardness and all the insecurities. So
that's why I'm here. That's it.
Right. Be sure. That's all we got for you guys today. Go home.
Go home.
Be sure to
be
like,
grateful.
Follow, subscribe, be grateful, keep coming back. All this stuff.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That's all for today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification button so you know when new posts are coming up. Keep coming back.